from that short break. And strategically, we are talking about the 3.5 billion investment between NNPCL and the Akwa Ibom state government. And one key question I will put across to Dr. Enang is that when we talk about strategic investment, is it one of such strategic investment that will become a legacy that will live beyond just a particular governor, the next governor and next generation will begin to benefit from? And again, how important is this project towards economic diversification, job creation, and industrial development of Akwa Ibom State? Not to forget, one critical question that we cannot leave out of this discussion is the sustaining this kind of project for a very long time, because this will not be the first state that will be going into strategic partnership with NNPC and others. Well, here we are. Doc, a very good day to you.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, let's get straight to the discussion. First, how strategic is this 3.5 billion investment between NNPCL and Akwa Ibom State? How strategic is this?
It's a very strategic investment, and I personally think that that's one of the biggest gifts that the federal government can give to the states, in addition to a deep sea port. Because what it allows us to do is allows us to unlock the potentials of being a major producer of oil and gas predominantly. And also it comes at a time where we have in Akwa Ibom State a company like Seplat Energy that is very focused on the domestic utilization of gas. So I think it's a win-win for all of us in Akwa Ibom State. More so, we have the pride of having our son as the Minister for State for Gas, and also our son as the Senate President. So I think it's a moment where I feel very proud of Akwa Ibom as my state, and I feel this is the right time that God has given us the grace and the opportunity to unlock gas resources for a common shared prosperity and wealth.
I think I should also join you in that celebration, also join you in that euphoria of being proud of Akwa Ibom State. But one critical question that also comes to mind now is that, economic diversification has been on the table of many governors. Is Akwa Ibom now tailoring himself toward this gigantic energy capital for economic diversification?
Absolutely. So I think it is important for us to maybe interloop that question and sort of ask another question, which would say, how do we take this from just an MOU to begin to then unlock the real final investment decision? And I think that's a critical question that may be on your mind, really. And that's where all the guys, everybody on the table plays a role. Why? From the subnational level, where we have my governor as the chief executive, he is playing host to these businesses. So he's meant to ensure that there is that comfort. Starting primarily from the host community, which seems to be the biggest challenge to most investments in Nigeria, especially energy investments. That's his own forte. We have our other son, who happens to be the Senate President, at the forefront of making sure that there are very good regulatory provisions that protect the interests of all stakeholders, whether the investor, the state, or the host community. Everybody's holdings are being protected. And then we also have the imperatives from the Minister for State, which is to ensure that it galvanizes the entire deal, ensures that we put in the best competitive terms, and that we always offer investors value for money at all the stages of the execution, so that they do not change their mind. Because remember, it is one thing for them to do an MOU, but those MOUs are contingent on certain action items by different parties and certain economic fundamentals. That is why sometimes you hear that a project was started, well funded, but the funding was pulled out midway. So all stakeholders on the table have a role to play to be able to guide this jealously, from just being an MOU to now start the final investment decision to start executing the projects. I think that is where we are, hoping that God gives us the guidance and the grace to steward this path all the way through.
Now, let's take a look at some of the objectives of this MOU. One, Akwa Ibom State Gas Master Plan. Doc, you are a passionate gas expert in Nigeria, and there's no doubt about it. Having a gas master plan that can be translated or transmitted into job creation and industrial park or industrial development is very key. But sustainability is also very, very important. From your own understanding, how can Akwa Ibom ensure that government come, government go? This government come, government go. This particular issue or master plan will become a reality for Akwa Ibom.
All right, thank you. I think it all starts with making sure that we legislate some of these very laudable initiatives, because that's one of the ways that, for example, the NNPCL has been able to survive, and it has that legislative backing. It's not just something that we are chasing because this is the individual interest of this administration. No, legislating it means that there are regulatory provisions that means that whichever government comes, that's at the forefront of energy security, and they have to continue that. That's top of my mind. Now, if you look at the entire spectrum of the opportunities, we already create the oil and gas. Frankly, we already do that. The only thing that we're trying to achieve right now is to take the gas in the most basic form that it is, which is, after you separated it from your crude to get the right quality or spec of crude, then we can then use that gas for different initiatives, whether it's gas to liquid, gas to power, whether it be CNG, whether it be producing fertilizers. So there's an array of opportunities along the gas value chain. And one of the best ways, I think the master plan that you're referring to will be able to consolidate on this MOU and the gains that we've made thus far would be to set up a gas industrial park. A gas industrial park primarily would mean that we commingle that gas in. The gas primarily, as far as I'm aware, will be a full well stream, have some liquids. Then we can knock off those liquids, and then that would give us the heavy components, which is the LPG, and then we can then look at having people come out and offtake that LPG separately to be able to produce, the cooking gas that we're looking at, right? And then from there, when you go into the dry components, you then have the feedstock for gas, for dry CNG, sorry. The feedstock is there for CNG. Somebody could primarily say, look, my job is to get this feedstock, separate the liquid side of things for whoever wants to do their LPG, and then deal with the dry gas and sell that dry gas as CNG, sell that dry gas as power into a power station that primarily would power that industrial hub. And because you're powering an industrial hub that is meant to be, sort of enhancing productivity, that's a very bankable approach to that, to gas to power solution. Because remember, part of the problem that we always have is there's a lot of legacy debt issues when it comes to the gas to power solution.
Exactly.
But here you are, primarily powering people that are in the industrial sector. So that means they're running a business, and that means they're going to have somebody who can primarily pay for their business, and they can also pay you. So that's a good one. We've now been able to extract the gas to power solutions from that. Then the second thing that we need to look at is, okay, the residual gas that we have left, we have a feedstock. 85% of gas is what is used for urea manufacturing, so we can primarily use it to produce urea fertilizers. That will help us to grow more of our products, and that can also even help us to have a net amount for exports. And then by the time we have power, constant power in that industrial park, we have solved the biggest problem that businesses have, which is reliable and affordable and available power. Once you solve that problem, businesses can even work extended hours. So we've increased the capacity of businesses. We have increased the ability for them to be able to, double up their productivity, and that's more jobs that are being created.
Exactly.
And then by the time we have done this, manufacturing can start. When we have steady power supply, we can do manufacturing. When manufacturing happens, there'll be people that will enter into the logistics and warehousing space so that they can transport these goods and services. And at the end of the day, that is how you trickle down from the primary, linkage to the oil and gas sector, to the secondary, and then to the tertiary, because around that the gas industrial people will create hospitals and schools to serve that hub. But why am I advocating, just before I land, on the gas industrial hub? It is because it's centralized and it allows the government to uniformly provide all the infrastructure and imperatives required to service that hub.
Exactly. Doc, I can't thank you enough. These are quite interesting, intellectually dissected submissions from you. It's a developing story. I think in the next 3 months, something needs to happen around this MOU that they have signed, because all things on paper right now, but in the next 3 months, we'll be revisiting some of these issues to see how concretized the MOU have gone. But for Doc, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on this topic at this point in time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right. So enjoy the rest of your day in Lagos.